Hey guys, it's Muffinjello, and today I will be showing you guys how to make a very simple active spell using the Spellmaker for AncientRPG. Now I know this is long overdue, but I have been very busy. Anyways, first of all, open up the Spellmaker right after you download it, and a few more files should appear in that same folder. Don't worry about that, but make sure you do take note of which folder you do have the Spellmaker in, because that's where your spells will be saved to. Now I'm going to be making a God spell, I don't know. And this is the name of the spell that the players will see when they are going through the spell's help list. So the variables and the max level here are advanced, and I won't be going over them today, but you can use those if you want. Now for min level, that's what level the player has to be to actually be able to use that spell. And for the permission, I'm going to do spell.use.god, I don't know. Okay, and now make sure you press set. Now there are a few different modes for the Spellmaker for what type of spell you can have, and I'm going to be going over active. Like I said, in active what it will do is when the spell is activated, it will run all of your Spellmaker code and carry out whatever is there. Now for a passive, it is very similar to a buff, but it's always going to be on the player. And whenever any of these events happens, it will run off the Spellmaker code, which is the exact same as a buff, except the buff will run out. So say the buff only lasts 15 seconds. If I get hurt 20 seconds after the buff has been cast on me, it won't actually run any of the Spellmaker code. So now I'm just going to go back into active and click OK. This will open up the main Spellmaker window, and this is where all of the magic happens. Okay, so the first most important thing that you're going to want to have on your spell is a cooldown. You don't want your players spamming your spell, especially if it's a really strong spell, which can give them a huge advantage and sort of be unfair for everybody else. Now, you're probably seeing check cooldown and cooldown on my screen right now, and what check cooldown will do is it will look up the name that's in this pink box, and see if I have a cooldown on that, and if I do, it will not run the spell. So go into your parameters tab and drag this pink box which has the word string beside it. Now string is just another word for words basically, so I'm going to name this cooldown God and God. Make sure they're the exact same or it will not work. Now I want the cooldown on this spell to last for 30 seconds. And so I just put in the number 30, but the Spellmaker and AncientRPG does not actually work in seconds, it works in milliseconds. So you're going to have to add an extra 3 zeros if you want this to actually be 30 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. And now I can actually get into coding my spell. So what I want the spell to do is, let's see, I want it to make my player invincible. So invulnerable, I'm going to just take this and drag it on to the top name over here, which will just hook it onto the general line. So now for I go into my parameters panel, and I just drag the word player into here, and player returns the name of the player who is casting the spell, which is who I want to make invulnerable, and now I want to make them invulnerable for 10 seconds. So just put in 10 and then added the 3 extra zeros. Now I also want there to be some dramatic effects to let other players who are nearby know that someone is in God mode now. So I'm going to have lightning effect. Now this is different from lightning because lightning effect will not actually damage the player or cause any fires or anything like that. It will just do the animation of the lightning coming down and striking the location. Now one thing you do have to realize with Spellmaker is that everything is color coded, but some colors accept multiple different variations. Like for right now you see these 2 yellow ones which match up with strike lock, but I can also put player in here, which will actually return the location of the player casting the spell and not just the name. So that also works. Now I also want there to be broadcast on my server saying that so and so, or saying that God mode has been activated, I won't actually show in this video how to return the player's name into the message. So I'm just going to drag on the string, and I'm going to say broadcast God has descended on you all. It's pretty cheesy, but whatever. Now, even though there is a cooldown on this, I'm actually going to add an extra 0, 2 extra zeros, because I don't actually want players to be able to use this very frequently. And now I am going to put in the command wait. Now you're probably wondering what's the point of this, but what wait will do is it will allow me to make the command pause for a bit before it runs all of the lines of Spellmaker code after it, which is also partly the reason why I put cooldown at the top here, because if you have the cooldown at the bottom of your spell and it's after a wait command, then the cooldown will not actually be triggered automatically, which you need to be careful of. So now for the wait, I'm going to look that the player is invulnerable for 10 seconds, so I want the command to wait 11 seconds, and once that wait time is over, I want the player to be killed because he has done something very wrong, and becoming invulnerable is not natural. So, okay, let's see. Looking for the kill command, and please be careful that once you do actually close the Spellmaker, as of AncientRPG version beta and 0.95, you cannot actually open the spell again in the Spellmaker. So you are going to have to be very careful and make sure that the spell does work before you close the Spellmaker. Now there is a way of editing the spell after you've closed the Spellmaker, but I won't be going over that in this video. So I'm just going to drag the player over again, this player parameter, and now my spell is all ready to be tested out. So I'm going to go into my Spellmaker folder, just keep that ready, and I'm going to click at the top here and file save. Now it will tell you where it saves it to, and when I go here I will actually see the word God, and it says a spell file. So now I'm going to actually go into my server folder and go into my plugins, and you are going to need a few plugins for this, for AncientRPG to work, which would mainly be Vault, which is the only plugin, but I do recommend also getting Essentials, just in general, for a craft bucket. Anyways, going into AncientRPG, I'm going to go into my class folder, and I'm going to create a new class for this spell. Now, what classes do is they let your player choose what class they want to be, and any class that they are in, they can use any of the spells that are in that class that they have a high enough level for. So I want this spell to be, I don't know, what should I call it? Okay, poop. I'm going to call my class poop. Now I'm just going to go into the poop folder, and I'm going to drag the spell file into the poop folder. Now let's hope this works. So I'm just going to exit out of this and start up my server. Now please note that once you do start up the server and it is ready and it's loaded everything, you should actually see another file appear here, like a .config file, so don't be alarmed if you actually do see that pop up. Now one has popped up for the spell, or the class poop, and for the spell God. So now I'm just going to go into my server. I'm just going to start up 2 Minecrafts because I'm cool like that. I'm just going to delete something here so it fails in logging in. Now I have actually made my server on offline mode, so I'm going to be logging onto the server twice. One as my normal Minecraft username and one as this other player. Okay, so now as you can see, there's me. I'm just going to leave this up for right now. So now for the basic command, it's class list, or class help rather, for when you're getting into your spells. And now I used class list earlier, and I can see that Poop is one of my classes, and I'm just going to do /class set poop, and now my class is poop, and I'm going to class spell list, which will now show me all the spells that that is available to my class. So I'm going to bind my spell to an item. So one thing you do have to realize with AncientRPG is that for most spells, unless you have it set up, you will actually have to get the player to manually bind the spell to an item. So, okay, I'm gonna get ticked off at this cow and all of this random noise. Okay. So now I've got that ready, and I'm gonna hold my here. What item do I want to bind it to? And by binding it, I mean what item my player is going to be holding, and what item they have to left click with to actually activate the spell. Now I want the spell to be activated when my player is holding a golden apple. Okay, so now I'm gonna scroll over to my golden apple and type class bind god, and it should say something like successfully bound god to golden _ apple. Now when I click this, hopefully it will work. Looking on my other screen, what the other guy is seeing here is just gonna click this. God has descended upon you all, and now when the other player is hitting my player, I am not receiving any damage at all. That partly might be because of creative, but anyways, as you can see, I just died because of the spell. So I'm just gonna go back and show you again what happened, because this time I'm not gonna be in creative mode, which was sad on my part. So okay. Now, one thing you do have to realize is once you've bound a spell to an item, it will keep on reoccurring, and when you scroll onto that item, it will give you a notice what spell is bound to it, so you can easily manage your spells without like accidentally setting off a really powerful spell that can cause you to die. So I'm just gonna get my other guy to attack me, make sure I'm not invincible. Okay, now I'm gonna use the spell. Okay, and I think, yeah, so as you can see, there's actually a cooldown on the spell that I put on earlier, which is, oh my god, it's actually a long time. So I'm just going to reload the server to get past that cooldown, and now hopefully this will work. So it says God has descended upon you all, and now when I hit him, nothing happens, but I'm going to die in about 11 seconds or so. So as you can see, I just die, and if I did want to make the spell more realistic, I would probably make lightning strike the location again when I die. But anyways, that's just the basic of a basic active spell. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.